Today's podcast is sponsored by Microsoft's newest podcast, Security Unlocked. You can find links down in the description below, and you can find a Paul Thurrott sitting there.
How you doing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we'll just call it a show.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Then we can all go to the Apple store and
spend $550. Come on, even in the context of Apple stuff, that's silly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, the wheels of the Mac Pro might be worse. I guess are worse.
Yeah, well, I guess they did sell a monitor stand for $1,000, or still do.
Yeah. Okay.
I wonder if that monitor stand could double as like a hanger for your headphones. Like you could just buy that and hang them on there on your desk as
Did you see the crazy little wrap they have for a cover? It only covers like the earmuffs. It looks like
so tote it around like a little purse.
It's like a tortilla that you wrap around the headphones.
I'm sure they sound good, and they're
I'm sure they do.
Easy to use with an iPhone and a Mac, and not your PC or your Android device, but
you know the problem with you people is you hate Apple too much. No, you know what the problem with us people is? We care about the customers too much. Come on.
Like, yeah,
Come on.
If you're looking at those things, you're like, that maybe like go buy yourself a pair of Sony XM4s, and you will be significantly happier, and you also spend about $200 less.
Yeah, just take the rest in the form of an Apple gift card. You know you're going back. You know? Oh, jeez.
Oh, God. Anyway, so yeah, you can go buy those if you really want. $550 for AirPod Max? Is that what they're called?
Who cares?
Yeah, AirPods Max.
Did you see the picture I put up yesterday of a HomePod Max? Or whatever I called it. And it was like the Apple headphones, but with the HomePod minis on them. You just put them right on your head like a Princess Leia thing.
And the thing is, we both know they're going to sell tons of these.
Oh, I don't know. I mean,
bet they do.
Honestly, I don't know. I look at things like the AirPods, obviously, relatively inexpensive, dubious audio quality. But then they have like the Pro versions, and I know they've been revving that over, pretty rapidly, actually. Like those are probably fine. I get it. And I don't know what does AirPods Pro cost? $250, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. What are those?
Somewhere in there, but they're expensive for what they are. But everyone likes the Apple logo and the Apple whatever, and that's fine. But like these things, I don't. It's kind of like the original HomePod. When that thing came out, it's like I'm sure this thing sounds great. It doesn't make any sense at that price point. It just doesn't. Like it doesn't matter how good it sounds. Like that's stupid.
Yeah.
Sonos equipment is expensive, but Sonos equipment, some people will say that's stupid, it's too expensive, but you can kind of justify it on whatever level. I feel like this is the next level up. Remember that giant iPod speaker they made? Remember that thing?
The hi-fi?
Yeah, I think that's what it was called. Was it called like iPod i-fi or
something like that? Yeah,
Apple i-fi or something. It looked like a boom box, from the 80s.
Minus the D batteries.
Yeah. But even thicker. Anywho, whatever. Apple, classic.
The interesting thing, too, is Sonos is supposed to be working on headphones, but they release new products at an anemic rate.
They sure do. Yeah, I agree.
Clearly, I don't think Sonos will be trying to outprice Apple in this, so I wonder what they will.
Yeah, but this is, look, I don't know. I don't own any Apple speakers. I'm just going to give them this. I assume the sound quality is great. Like I'm sure it's for what they are. I'm sure it is. And I'm sure that they have enough experience and expertise now within the company to make a decent pair of headphones. There's no doubt about it. I will say it makes a little more sense for them to make this product than it does for Apple to make Surface headphones. I mean, I don't understand where that comes from. But even Microsoft's headphones aren't in this stratospheric price range, Yeah. It's like we're talking about I was going to buy a Porsche, but I went for a Bentley. Okay. I mean, I guess you can spend as much as you want on a car. I don't know.
You can do whatever you want. That's the point of
Does it
your own
come with
money.
Grey Poupon. There's a little thing that opens up and you get the little The little mobile, the little tiny one you get like with a breakfast at a hotel or something.
Oh gosh, that's like the size of like one of those little muffins that you can get in like a
Yeah. The little bottle of hot sauce that comes with eggs.
good old Tabasco sauce. I need more of that in my life.
Tabasco.
Yeah, I really can't eat ketchup without Tabasco sauce. Like it's
that's interesting.
It's kind of like some people are, I guess, alcoholics. Can't drink Coke without Jack in it, right? like
alcoholics. Yes,
alcoholics. I need Tabasco in my ketchup. It's just better.
Yeah, ketchup is too sweet for me, but yeah.
Well, I think that's probably why the Tabasco works well, because it's more vinegary. Like it kind of mellows that out a little bit, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anyways, back to Condiment Daily. We also got a pretty big update late yesterday. Halo Infinite. No surprise here. It's not coming until fall of 2020.
No surprise, really. I
yeah.
think there's a little bit of a surprise. You didn't think this was coming sooner than that?
No.
That's
the benefit.
Let me, before you say anything,
yeah.
I have written and will, after this podcast, post an editorial about this topic. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to hear what you think about this, because I'm curious where we fall.
Yeah. So the game was in bad shape in July. We all know that. Like that's.
Well, we know it because they showed it.
Yeah, we know
they showed it. I'm sorry. I can't. I'm sorry. I'm freaked about this topic. Go on. I'm sorry.
Anyway, so the game's in bad shape. There's no benefit to shipping it like 2 months late, and it's marginally better. Like they've already kind of put themselves into a corner that if they don't ship a great product, at least a really good looking product, they're screwed. Like that'll be the absolute headlines, because here's the narrative. Oh, they showed it in July, so they delayed it until, let's just say, February, and it just doesn't even look any better. So there's no way that they could significantly update and overhaul the graphics in an additional 2 months. So they need a year.
Okay, but let's go back to the root cause here. They knew about this launch window for many, many months, probably years even, really. Yep. I mean, they knew this thing was the point of it was, we're going to get this next generation of consoles off to a good start, unlike the last one, right?
Mm-hmm.
And by launching this thing along with an actual AAA title that will take advantage of the unique qualities of the consoles, we will have something to answer Sony and their whole exclusive thing and blah, 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 whatever. And they had to have known. At that event, they put Halo first in July. It was the first thing they showed.
So they did know. Like they even talk about it. They in the post. It's sort of a weird post, because it's like a transcribed interview. Like it's not it's whatever. They very explicitly called out. They're like, yeah, we prioritize frame rate over like it looking good, and that was sort of a tell that.
I'm sorry, I know, but this is a retroactive excuse. It's like, well, we said this is the first time we're going to show gameplay, right? But it could have been a cartoon. It could obviously we're looking at the graphics. The other thing is the game should have been completed within a month of that date to make the November launch. So it was irresponsible of them to even show Halo if they weren't going to ship it. I mean, that's crazy. You realize, like, I don't remember his name, but the guy that was forced out of 343, right? And then they brought back a guy from Bungie to lead the team or whatever. Do you understand? Like, you don't understand, but I mean, people should understand like the ramifications of this. This is at a time when Microsoft is investing so heavily in gaming. To screw up the launch of this generation of consoles is inexcusable. But it's so much bigger than that, because they had all of these third-party advertisers going ready with commercials featuring Halo and Master Chief, product tie-ins at Taco Bell and wherever, Monster drinks and whatever the thing is. Like, you still see this stuff out in the world. It's like there hasn't been a new Halo game with Master Chief in 5 years. 5 years. I just don't understand. I have to go back to Longhorn to find something this epically screwed up at Microsoft.
Yeah, this was a big blunder.
It's a big one, I think. Yeah. I think it's a really big one.
Yeah, and that the game was in bad shape because they're not shipping it until fall of 2021. Like, if it was close to being in an acceptable state, they'd be like, okay, it'll ship in February or whatever, pick your date. But the fact that they're effectively saying, yeah, we need an extra year.
How do you screw that up? it's like that badly. Like that's
Yeah.
incredible. I've said this before, and this is the best visual I can think of to describe my reaction, because Leo and I were covering this event live when it happened. What a disappointment. And I think I said live on the show. If I didn't, I've made this observation since then. It's like the beginning of The Wizard of Oz, right? This movie opens in black and white, and then it expands into color when she goes to Oz, and it was one of the early color movies, I'm sure, or whatever. It was a big deal at the time. I thought what they were doing was something like that, where we were seeing last gen graphics. I mean, maybe even 360 graphics. It looked terrible. And that all of a sudden it was going to ray trace in or something, like it was going to do this awesome graphical shift. We're like, yeah, nice. And it kept going and going, and they had that stupid extra character, and they were talking to each other. And I was like, what? How is this the game?
On the complete opposite end of the spectrum, like the complete opposite end of the gaming spectrum for Microsoft. And this is part of the reason why I wrote this up. So yesterday, Microsoft announced that the ray tracing feature pack, or whatever you're going to call it, update for Minecraft is available to everybody. Right. This was sort of the reason why I wrote that post. Is also on the same day, YouTube, the head of YouTube Gaming, announced, and this is incredible to me, that Minecraft had 201 billion views on YouTube just in 2020. The second game on that list was a game called Roblox, which is kind of a ripoff of Minecraft, had 75. So Minecraft content on YouTube just completely dominates. Like Fortnite only had 67 billion views.
That's crazy.
Like Microsoft is quietly like dominating that scene with Minecraft. It's crazy.
Yeah, there was some, I don't remember the exact numbers, but the instances of views, I guess, of video game content, mostly live streams of people playing a game, doubled in 2020 versus 2019.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Well, doubled. I mean, and we know. Look, gaming is sports. It's gonna vie with baseball and hockey and football and whatever else. For viewers and advertiser dollars and all that kind of stuff. It's crazy. But so they have this thing. Well, Minecraft has been on a slow boil. Although if you follow Minecraft, you probably know that they release updates to Minecraft at least a couple times a month. I mean, it's this game, and this is, by the way, it's one thing Microsoft is good at. Even games I don't care about, Sea of Thieves, Gears of War, whatever, they do a nice job with their in-studio games of keeping content, releasing new content over time and keeping the whatever number of millions of people that play these games really happy. It's smart, and who knows? Halo. Maybe we'll look back in 5 years and say, look what they did with it over time. I mean, they added ray tracing and added levels and multiplayer levels and blah, 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 whatever. I'm sure they'll do a good job with it. But my God, it required like adult supervision to step in. I don't remember that guy's name, but remember when the Xbox One launched, someone asked him about, God, his name's right on the tip of my tongue. Someone asked him about playing offline. What's that?
Talking about Don Matrick?
Yeah, I think was it Don Matrick? Yeah, I think so. He was the submarine guy, right?
Yeah, where they said we've got a console for that.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, you can use the Xbox 360. That was the it's a hard computer science problem of the day.
Yeah, that was a blunder.
Oh, boy.
And I don't know what you're doing today, Paul, but about probably 200 million people last month used SharePoint, which is.
Let's put that one in perspective. I mean, that's like comparing whether the Allies or the Axis had more prisoners at the end of World War II. Like, what the hell are you talking about? What do you think? Like, people were flocking to SharePoint? I mean, like, forced to work from home. It's like, oh, I got to use SharePoint now. Great.
The thing is, I think most people
don't even know they're using SharePoint.
Most people who use SharePoint probably have no idea they're using SharePoint. And that's probably the point.
Well, okay, it is and it isn't, but yeah, no, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry, you're right. But I guess just to put this in perspective, whatever the figure is for Microsoft Teams, I don't think most people use Teams hate it, and I think most people are like, wow, like when you actually dive into it, you're like, this actually works really well, and it does all this stuff. I think Teams is unique in many ways, and for many reasons, but one of them is that businesses and the people that work there, I think both not unilaterally, but generally agree this product works great. Like it does the job. It does more than we thought it did. It keeps doing more than we thought it did. They keep adding features. SharePoint is like plumbing, you know? I don't think people think about SharePoint, care about SharePoint.
Yeah.
Love SharePoint.
Except for the people managing it. You're probably, I mean,
Right.
OneDrive is based on SharePoint. Teams is based on SharePoint. It's just the back end to a lot of things that Microsoft does. So.
Yeah, so good for SharePoint. Let's all celebrate that.
Well, they did double from in 2019. It was 100 million, and now they're at 200 million.
Yeah, no, it's a pandemic changes a lot of things, Brad. You know.
Does it?
Yeah, I think it does. Would have been nice to have a new video game to play, huh? During the pandemic, that would have been nice.
Went the wrong way. Anyways, today's podcast is sponsored by Security Unlocked, a new podcast from Microsoft. Check out the links in the description below or go to aka.ms/securityunlocked.
Yeah.